Okay, so now that the inventory has the ability to drop the items, we need to start creating the input for that. So let's go back to the folders and let's open the input folder UI this time. So now let's open the UI folder, and here we need to start creating some input actions for the UI. So first let's create a folder. So right click, go to new folder, and I will name this folder actions to hold all the actions, of course. And let's right click and create an input mapping context for this. So go to input and input mapping context, this one. And I will name this IMC for input mapping context, like this. And let's name this something like UI, maybe. So let's just put this name. And now let's open the actions folder to create the first action. So let's open this, right click, go to input, and let's create an input action. And I will name this IA for input action, then drop items, something like this. Of course, you can name this whatever you want, but I will name IA drop items. So now let's go back to the UI folder and let's open the IMC UI, so the input mapping context, because we need to add this action as a mapping here. So just click on this plus in the mappings here, like this. And for the action, let's select the IA drop items, this one. And for the key, I will use the Q key on the keyboard. So just click on the keyboard here and press Q, or any other key that you want, but for me is Q. Okay, so now let's expand this key because we need to add one trigger for this. So here in the triggers, in the array here, let's just click on the plus to add an element, as you can see. And this index 0 was added, as you can see. Let's just change the none here to hold. We basically need to add a trigger hold. So just click on this. Let's expand this index here so we can see the settings for the hold trigger. And basically, as you can see, we have the hold time threshold. This is basically set as 1 second, so basically we need to hold the key for 1 second before this trigger fires, right? So if you want, you can decrease or increase this value as you wish for your game, but for me, I will leave this as 1 second. So basically we just need to add this hold trigger inside this mapping here, right? So now let's save and close this. Now we need a way to add this mapping context to the player controller when we open the inventory. So let's do this now. Okay, so to do this, we need to open the HUD class. So let's go back to the blueprints, bases, main, HUDs. Let's open the BP main HUD like this. And as you can see here, we have the toggle player inventory event that we created, and basically when we press tab on the keyboard, we are calling this event here and changing the visibility of the inventory's HUD. So if the new visibility of this inventory HUD is true, that means that we open the inventory, so we need to add the UI input mapping context to the player controller as well. And this is the function that we need to create. We need to create a function to toggle this mapping, because if the visibility is true, that means that we need to add the input mapping for the UI. But if the visibility is false, that means that we need to remove the UI mapping context, right? The inputs for the UI. So here in the functions, let's click on this plus icon and let's change the name to toggle UI input mapping, something like this. Toggle UI input mapping, and let's start implementing this. So this function will need one input. So let's click on the function here and let's add this input, and this will be the visibility. So let's change the name to visible, something like this. Let's add a question mark because this is a boolean and it is set to boolean here in the type. So if not, just change the type here to boolean. And of course, first we need to know if this is true or false. So let's connect this boolean in a branch like this. And again, if this is true, that means that we need to add the mapping context to the player controller. And if this is false, that means that we need to remove the mapping context. So to do this, we need to get the player controller. So because we are inside the HUD class, we need to get the owning player controller. So right click and type get owning player controller, this one, get owning player controller inside the HUD category. So let's just click on this. And from this, we can drag from the return value here and type enhanced, this one, the get enhanced input local player subsystem. We need to get this node here. Let's just get this, and we have this enhanced input local player subsystem. From this, we can see if this is valid first. So let's drag from the, let me just put this upper here like this. Let's drag from this value here, and let's type is valid, and let's get this one with the question mark. Let's click on this, and of course we need to connect the true here in the execution pin like this. So basically, if this is valid, we need to add the new input mapping context. So from this is valid here, actually let's drag from this return value, let's drag from this and type add mapping context. So we have this one, add mapping context inside the input category. So let's just click on this, and let's connect from the is valid execution pin here like this. Let me just add a reroute here like this. And here in the mapping context, let's just select the UI here. So the IMC UI like this, and there we go. So basically, if the visibility is true, that means that we are adding, that we need to add the UI mapping context like this. So there we go. And now basically, if this is false, we need to remove this mapping context. So basically we need to do the same thing here. So let me just select these three nodes here, press Ctrl C and Ctrl V to copy and paste this. Let's put down here. Let me just put this a little bit upper like this. And of course, let's connect from the false here in the execution pin. And again, if this is valid, we need to remove the mapping context. So let's drag from the return here and type remove mapping context. Again, inside the input category, let's just click on this. Let's connect from the is valid here. And the mapping context that we need to remove is the IMC UI. So let's just select this one. And there we go. This is basically the function. So when we call this function and pass the visibility, if it is true, we are adding the mapping context for the UI. And if it is false, we are removing this mapping context, right? So now let's just compile and save and use this function. So let's go back to the event graph like this. And we need to use this function after toggling the widget visibility. So let me just select all this here and put a little bit to the right side. Let me increase the comment here. And let's just drag the toggle UI input mapping here like this. And let's connect the execution pin here and the end execution pin in the branch like this. Let me add a reroute like this, because of course we still need to connect this in the condition here. And now let's just connect the visibility here like this, and there we go. So now when we open the inventory, we are adding the UI mapping context, so we can use the keys to work in the inventory. And of course, when we close the inventory, we are removing this UI mapping context, right? Okay, so now let's create this input inside the inventory slot. So let's do this. Okay, so now we need to implement the input inside the slot widget. So let's go back to the folders here and let's open widgets, inventory, and we have the WB inventory slot here. So let's just open this. As you can see, this is the slot for the inventory. Let's go to the graph and let's start implementing the input. So first, of course, we need the input. So right click and type IA drop items. So we have the event here. Let's add this to the graph. And as you can see, we have some execution pins here. So basically we added a trigger inside the action. So if we hold the key for 1 second, this triggered execution pin here will fire. So basically the flow will come from here. But if we just press the key and release it before 1 second, this cancelled execution pin will fire basically. So we need to use this to drop just one item if we press the key. But if we hold the key, we need to drop the whole stack that this inventory has, this slot actually, that this slot has, right? So we need to drop the whole stack if we hold the key. And that's what we need to do here. So let's start doing this. Okay, so first I need to see if we are hovering this slot with the mouse, because of course I want to drop only from the slot that we are hovering with the mouse. And to see this is really simple, because we are inside a widget, we can just right click and type is hovered. So we have this widget function here is hovered, that is a boolean, so this will tell us if we are hovering this with the mouse or not, right? And another thing that I need to see if we have items inside this slot. So basically if the slot is occupied, and we have this variable for this. So let's just drag a reference to this here. There we go. And we need to do one more check. I need to see if this slot is from the player's inventory, because I just want to drop from the player's inventory. I don't want to drop from the chest or from loot, anything else. I just want to drop from the player inventory. So I need to see if this is the inventory of the player. So to see this, we have the inventory variable here. So let's just drag this variable here like this. And from this, we have the inventory type. So let's just drag here and type inventory type. And we have the get inventory type node. So let's just get this. And let's just drag from the return here and type equal. And we have this equal here, the equal enum. So let's just get this. And here, as you can see, we can select the player, storage, or loot. This is the inventory types that we have. But let's leave this as player, as you can see. And this is a boolean. So basically, we need to check all these three things here. Basically, if we are hovering this slot with the mouse, if this slot has items, so basically if it is occupied, and if this slot is from the player's inventory. So we need to see all these three booleans here. So now let's drag from this one and type AND. So we have this AND boolean operator here. So let's just click on this. Let's connect the occupied in the second pin, and let's add another pin here. So just click on this add pin to add another one, and let's connect this check here if this inventory is the player ones, right? So let's just connect this here. And we have all these three checks here. So now we have this boolean. Let's connect this in a branch like this. And first I'm doing if we hold the key for more than 1 second, right? So let's connect from this triggered execution pin in this branch like this. So if all this is true, that means that we want to drop the whole stack from this slot, right? So let's get a reference to the inventory. And as you may remember, we create a function to drop the items. So let's drag from the inventory here and just type drop items. And we have this function here, the call function drop items. Let's select this. Let's connect from the true like this. And now we need to pass the slot index, and we have this as a variable. So let's just get the slot index here. Let's connect. And the amount to drop is basically the whole stack. So basically this variable here, we have the amount that this slot has inside this variable. So let's just get this like this, and let's connect the in the amount to drop. And there we go. Basically, this is all for if we hold the key, right? So if we hold the key, we are checking if we are hovering a slot, if this slot has items, and if this slot is from the player's inventory. So if all these three is true, we are dropping the whole stack that this slot has, right? So now we basically need to do the same for if we just want to drop one item, so from this canceled here. So again, let's copy all these nodes here, because basically we need to do the same verification. So let's just press Ctrl C and Ctrl V down here like this, and let's connect this in a branch again like this. And now we need to connect from this canceled execution pin like this. And basically we need to call this drop items function again. So let me just copy all this here, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Let's connect from the true like this. And again, the slot index is the same one, but the amount, let's delete this reference and let's just put 1 here. So just type 1 in the amount to drop, because of course we are just pressing the key, so we just want to drop one item. So now let's select all these nodes and press C to comment, and I will comment dropping items like this. I hope you can understand this. If not, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll try to help you out. But basically this is all that we need to do here. Now if we press the key in a slot, we will be able to drop the item. So let's test if this is working. Okay, so let's go back to the third person map here so we can test this. Let's increase the viewport pressing F11 on the keyboard, and to hit play just press Alt P like this. So now let's collect some shields here, some swords, apples and bananas. And if I press tab, now we have all these items inside the inventory, as you can see. And if I press Q here with the mouse here, as you can see, nothing happens because we are not hovering a slot, as you can see. But if I hover this slot and press Q, there we go, we dropped the items in the world. I can drop this one as well, as you can see. And if I drop this one, that we have 3. If I press just once the Q key on the keyboard, as you can see, we dropped the banana and now we have 2 in the slot. If I press again, there we go, we drop 1 more. And if I press again, there we go, we dropped all the bananas. If I press Q in an empty slot, nothing happens because this slot is empty. And now if I hold this key for 1 second in a slot with a stack, the whole stack should drop. So let's see this. With the mouse here, I will hold the Q key. And there we go, after 1 second, as you can see, all the apples are dropped at the same time, but with a delay. So the apple has time to fall to the ground, so nothing explodes to everywhere, as you can see. So basically the drop functionality is working, as you can see. And of course, this is the same item that we have here, so we can collect this again, because it's the same collectible actor class that we are spawning in the world, as you can see. So basically this is all working, as you can see. Okay, so now I want to add 2 more things to this system in this video. So let me hit play so I can show you. Basically what I want to add here is when I hover with the mouse in a slot, I want to see the name of the item in the mouse. You will see, you will understand what I'm talking about, but I want to show the name of the item when I'm hovering with the mouse, and I want to put some helper text here to say Q to drop or hold to drop the whole stack, and that's what I'm going to do now. So let's do this. Okay, so let's start with the name of the item when we hover the slot. So to do this, let's go back to the slot widget. Let me go to the design so I can show you. So basically, if we hover this slot, I want to show the name of the item, and Unreal already has a functionality like this. So if I click on this WB inventory slot, basically the top level here, if we scroll down here in the behavior, we have this tooltip text. So basically you can write something here and this will show to the player when we hover this widget. But I want to basically do this text dynamic with the name of the item. So let's do this in the graph. So let's go to the graph and basically we need to get the name of the item, and we are already doing this here. So basically we are getting the item that we have in the slot, we are getting the information, and here is all the informations. So we have the name here. So basically we need to set this to text here. So to do this, let's go to the final part of this code inside the construct here. So let's go in the final part here. Let's right click and type set to tip. So we have this one here in the widget category, set to tip text. So let's click on this. Let's connect from the execution pin, as you can see, and now we just need to pass a text, and we already have this here is the name. So let's just drag from this and connect in this text here. Let me just add a reroute like this. Let me just put these two in the same level. There we go, and there we go. Basically, let's compile this and save. Okay, so now if we hit play, we should see the name of the item if we hover the slot with the mouse. So let me just collect some items here so we can test. Banana and the sword, like this. And if I open the inventory, as you can see, we have the items, and if I hover with the mouse, we have the correct names for each item. So shield, apple, banana, and sword, as you can see. So this is working. So now I want to add the text here, the helper text, to tell us if we press the Q key, we are dropping only one, and if we hold, we are dropping the whole stack. So let's do this now. Okay, so to do this, let's open the player inventory widget, this one, and let's add the texts. So here in the palette, just search for text, and let's add this text inside this overlay like this. And I will name this something like Q to drop like this. And for the text here, let's change this content to something like this. So basically the key that we want, so Q, and to drop something like this. Let's put this in the vertical alignment here. Just click on this bottom alignment like this, and let's decrease the size here. So maybe 18, something like this, maybe 16 actually. There we go. And let's add some padding to this. So I will add maybe 5 on the bottom, 8 on the bottom like this, and on the left let's add maybe 10, 20, let's see, 30. There we go. I will add 30 here. So we have this text. Let's add another one. So let's just select this and press Ctrl D to duplicate this. And this second one I will add maybe 60 on the left. So we need more. So 150. There we go, 150. And now let's just change here the content to maybe hold Q to drop all, something like this. There we go. So we have Q to drop and hold Q to drop all. There we go. Let's compile and save. Okay, so of course now if we hit play, we should see the text in the inventory. So let's open the inventory. There we go. We have Q to drop and hold Q to drop all. And there we go. Basically, we can now drop items from the inventory, as you can see. There we go. And this is it for this video. Now we can collect all the items from the world and drop the items from the inventory. So if I press just once, as you can see, we drop only one item, and if I hold, we can drop the whole stack. So let me get the banana here so you can see. As you can see, if I press just once, we drop one item each time, but if I hold, we drop the whole stack as once, as you can see. So the system is working. So in the next video, we're going to start creating the loot part of the system. So we will basically add some chests here in the world, and these chests will have random loot that we can collect, right? So if you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content. And as always, thank you for watching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.